Today we'll focus on how to identify the link between our thinking styles and the moods we experience. As we discussed last time, when you experience a troubling or persistent emotion or mood, for example, anxiety, depression, or anger, you may notice that you also experience changes in how your body feels. In the case of anxiety, for example, you might experience increased heart rate, some sweating. In the case of depression, the changes in your body involve a loss of motivation, energy, and appetite, or poor sleep. And in the case of anger, you might experience irritability and agitation. These in turn can lead to us unconsciously engaging in behaviors that help us feel somehow safe or better. In the case of anxiety, we try to avoid situations that feel threatening or upsetting to us. In the case of depression, people often cope by withdrawing from other people. This is called social withdrawal. And in the case of anger, people might start to have angry outbursts. So, what does your thoughts have to do with the way you feel? You might be wondering, what do your thoughts have to do with the way you act? Within cognitive behavior therapy, also known as CBT, the changes in your mood, your behavior, and your bodily symptoms are said to be the result of a pattern of unhelpful, negative automatic thoughts. These are thoughts that pop into our minds automatically, not consciously, and they are typically triggered by particular situations. What is said to be set up is a vicious cycle between our negative automatic thoughts that pop into our heads and that race around our minds. This impacts upon our mood, and that leads to changes in our bodily sensation, and in turn changes the way we behave. So it's not really the situation that is said to be the cause of our difficult moods and feelings, it's the meaning that we're attaching to them. I'll use an example to illustrate this. A person is walking along the pavement and unfortunately they step into some dog mess. The person starts to think, I'm going to smell like dog mess now. What if I get on the bus and everyone smells the dog mess on me? What if they start laughing at me? That person might feel, that's right, you've guessed it, nervous and anxious. Another person walks along the same pavement and unfortunately they step into the same dog mess. The person starts to think, awful things always happen to me. Whatever I do, it never ever works out. I knew it was going to be a bad day from the moment I woke up. That person might feel, I think you've guessed it right, quite sad and depressed. A third person, they walk along the same pavement. Unfortunately, they step into the same dog mess. The person starts to think, I hate them. I hate all dogs and I hate all dog owners. They should be lined up and shot with their own dog mess. That person may feel, I think you've guessed this one, very angry. A fourth person walks along the same pavement. It's a busy road, a busy day, and they step into the same dog mess. The person, a little old man, he thinks to himself, thank God I've got my shoes on. He probably feels relief. So all four people experience the same event, that is stepping into the dog mess on the pavement, but they all have four different emotional responses. Within cognitive behaviour therapy, as I've mentioned before, this is said to happen because they attach different meanings to the event of stepping in the dog mess. Each event means something totally different to each person. Today, we will focus on how to identify the links between our thinking styles and our moods. You might be thinking, but I just suddenly start to feel anxious and depressed and angry out of the blue. I don't know what I'm thinking. My mind is always racing. For you to be able to understand why you have been feeling the way you have and how you currently feel, what we need to do is to start to really tune in to ourselves a bit more and become aware of the kind of thoughts that come into your mind just before you feel that emotion or act in that particular way. So let's think about it now. What's been going through your mind lately? What kind of stream of thoughts have you had? Because it's the thoughts that we think that are key. A first step to be able to recognize your thinking pattern and the mood you're experiencing and how they're linked, that mood-thought link, is to keep a log. We can call this a mood-thought log or a mood-thought diary. What I'd like you to do is to just start to note down the occasions when you notice a change in your mood. Start by writing down the emotion you feel. You can use a very simple ABC format to write it down. A is called an antecedent. That is what happened, what time of day was it, where were you, who were you with. This will help you to identify what may trigger your thoughts. So what you could have in your thought mood log is 3 columns. The first one is the antecedents, where were you, what time of the day it was, who you were with, to identify those triggers. The middle column, the B column, can be about the beliefs or those negative automatic thoughts that are popping through your mind. What you can do is ask yourself, what went through my mind just before I started to feel that emotion? Note down the emotion that you felt, and then follow it up with the third column, which is a C column, the consequence column. This is what happened afterwards. What did you do? What did other people do? And this will give us a clue, this C column, to what might be maintaining your mood or your thinking style. Now I want you to, when you've done your mood and thought mood diary, is to look over that log and see if you can start to notice any patterns in terms of